Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Quick video, this one, the big breaking news, or at least the breaking news at the time of filming this, it's just gone 11 o'clock in the morning, is that Anthony Joshua will fight on Saturday and he's going to take on Robert Helenius, the Nordic Nightmare. What do you think of that? Honest opinions, please, in the comment section. Helenius did fight last weekend, I believe. I say fight, it was a glorified sparring session. He got the guy out of there in 2 rounds. Prior to that, you guys will remember that he got knocked out by Deontay Wilder. Prior to that, it was 2 very good back-to-back wins against Adam Kalnacki. Really good performances. I think, in hindsight, the best performances of his career. Look, there are other names being rumoured. The dream scenario for us as boxing fans would have been Hrgović, who's on the card. Hrgović is fighting Dempsey McKean. We heard other names as well, like Andy Ruiz, sort of chucking his name in there. What other names did we hear? Martin Bakole. There were talks of Gerald Washington, who's on the card. He takes on Chisora. Helenius is a much better option than Washington. Is he a better option than Chisora? For me, yes, he's a better option than Chisora as well, but clearly not as good as the Ruizes and the Hrgovićes and even the Bakoles that were linked. So it's going to be very interesting. And I speak to Eddie Hearn today. I'm going to the Zone HQ in Hammersmith to speak to him how this decision came about. Like, who made this decision? A lot of you will probably say, well, AJ is the captain of his ship. He made the decision. I don't think it's that simple. I think it's a collective. I think it's Derek James. I think it's probably Freddie Cunningham as well. Maybe Eddie Hearn had an input. But for whatever reason, they've come out with Helenius as the guy that AJ will be fighting. Now, look, let's talk about the good and then we'll talk about the bad. The good is the fight card still goes ahead, right? AJ has a fight. One thing I've always said about AJ, and you guys know it, I'm repeating myself here now, is I want to see activity. I want to see activity regardless. Well, no, that's not true. Not regardless of opponent, but I want to see activity. A steady incline in opponents, but fight. We're so used to seeing AJ have 1 fight a year, right? Or 1 or 2 fights every 18 months. It's not good enough. Obviously now he fought in April. Seeing him fight again in August, I think is a good thing. So that's good. I'm happy the fight card's going ahead as well. And I'm happy that it's going ahead not as a pay-per-view. So those are some good points. Now, with regards to Helenius, again, for me, I would have loved AJ and his team to say, fuck it, Hrgović. That's what I would have loved. I know it doesn't work like that, right? I mean, Hrgović is, you weigh up the risk reward and you think, okay, 1 second, this is risky. We haven't trained for a Hrgović. Hrgović is, in some people's eyes, a top 10 heavyweight. Is very, very dangerous. Do we risk a Hrgović when we have the carrot dangled in front of our face of a Deontay Wilder fight back end of the year, early next year? I think you risk it. Personally, I think you risk it. Personally, I think you think, fuck it, I can beat Hrgović. I saw Hrgović against Zhilei Zhang and I didn't think he was all that. I really didn't. He's not fought for a year either. The last time he fought was against Zhang. That would have been, for me, dream scenario. Like if that was announced, like, fuck it, we're going Hrgović, I think the boxing world would have been like, okay, this is incredible, this is good. Other names, Andy Ruiz in name sounds great as a name because it would have been the trilogy, but if this is Andy Ruiz coming off the couch, forget about it. For me, I've no interest. Honestly, I have no interest in seeing Andy Ruiz come off the couch and fight AJ. Andy Ruiz in camp, and I'm not quite sure if he is. I think I've seen some photos of him in camp, but if it was Andy Ruiz that we know is training in the lead up to a fight, then I know he's in shape, then yes, because you know it's going to be very, very good. But I just don't think he is in camp. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder and nothing's happened there. And I'm interested to know if, like, Andy Ruiz's name was put on the table. And was it a case of he's pricing himself out of it? Was it a case of, again, the risk-reward factor? Was it a case of it's just far too risky? Be interesting to know why Andy Ruiz isn't the replacement. Martin Bakole, he's definitely put his hat in the ring. I know for a fact Martin Bakole would have reached out. Again, risk-reward. Bakole right now is quite hot right now. It's quite hot. And I'm just being brutally honest, right? This is probably what they're doing. They're looking at the risk-reward factor. The risk is quite high with Bakole. The reward isn't. It's true. The risk with Helenius, he's risky. He's risky, but I think we saw against Deontay Wilder. I mean, if you land clean on this guy, you can hurt him. You can hurt him, and I expect AJ to be able to land clean and hurt him. He brings a little name value. Like, we as boxing fans know who Helenius is. I think the casual boxing fans don't. I know that because a friend of mine reached out and said to me, is this Helenius kid any good? So maybe the casual fans don't know him. And that's why I think it's been dropped down from a pay-per-view, which is very important, this for a pay-per-view to a normal regular fight night, because that can't be a pay-per-view. Like, there was a time when I thought AJ could fight anyone and it be pay-per-view. That isn't the case anymore. So I think it's smart for them to bring this down to a regular DAZN sort of fight on Saturday. So, look, first and foremost, I'm as disappointed as you. You know, one thing I don't want people to get away from is, don't be upset, and this is probably me being Team AJ here. This is Dillian Whyte's fault, by the way. Like, don't be upset with AJ. AJ could have easily said, fuck it, I ain't fighting. I was prepping for Dillian Whyte. I'm a week out. It's not my fault. You know what I mean? I know AJ's meticulous like that. It's not my fault Dillian Whyte's pulled out. We're not fighting. Because if you remember the last time AJ was going to fight someone and bullshit happened, he took the risk, got beat. That must still be in the back of his head. The last time I was going to fight someone, I'm talking about Jarrell Miller here, popped. We said, fuck it, we'll take someone on 2 weeks notice. The 2 weeks notice guy was Andy Ruiz, and you guys know the rest is history. And I don't think AJ is mentally recovered from that. So there could have been a point where AJ was like, I ain't fighting. I ain't doing it. At least he's still fighting. The blame, and I know a lot of people are going to be in the comment section under the announcements and, oh, this is crap. That energy should go that way. This isn't an AJ fault, right? It's not. It really isn't. Again, this is not me sticking up for AJ, but it's true, isn't it? This isn't an AJ fault. This was supposed to be AJ Dillian Whyte. This is the Dillian Whyte issue. I mean, I'm kind of just happy that AJ's still fighting. Again, we want activity. We get that from a very selfish point of view. Obviously, I'm presenting that show, and it's good to be presenting an AJ fight card. And I think it's good for the fighters on the undercard as well, who are all going to get paid. I wonder if that changes now. It's not pay-per-view, but all going to get paid. They've been training as well. And I think AJ ultimately saves the card. Is Helenius the name we want? No, of course it isn't. But you guys, I think we have to understand the risk-reward thing here. And, I mean, a lot of these heavyweights are risky. And if you've not been prepping and training for them, and again, this is a Derek James thing as well as an AJ thing, then maybe you take the lesser risk and just get some rounds in, hopefully get a stoppage and move on to something at the end of the year. And if this isn't a brutal fight, and I pray to God it isn't a brutal fight, maybe they can still salvage the Wilder card for the end of the year, so AJ does get these 3 fights in. But look, what do you guys make of it? Be very honest. Are you upset? If you have tickets for the event, are you saying, oh, fuck it, I'm not going anymore? But very interesting to see how people vote with their feet on this one. Because again, there was a time when I felt AJ could fight anyone and people would turn up. Are people that upset? Can I be honest with you? Dillian Whyte, Helenius, yeah, this is. I know people are going to say, but he got knocked out by Wilder. Whyte got knocked out by Fury, by the way. But I don't think Whyte's that far above Helenius, if I'm brutally honest. And this is not me just trying to play company man and, keep the fight going and keep the sell going. I honestly, genuinely don't believe that they're that far in front. I remember when Whyte fought Helenius. Remember that fight as well, by the way. But I don't think Whyte's that far in front. I really don't. I think Whyte is on the way down. I think Helenius is on the way down as well. Don't get me wrong, but I think they're on the way down at the same trajectory. I don't think they're levels in front of each other. I'd almost put them in the same grouping, if I'm being brutally honest. That's my own opinion. But obviously Whyte versus AJ had a bit of steam to it. This obviously doesn't. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of numbers this does for DAZN. But yeah, look, very, very quick video. What do you guys think of the opponent? Are you happy? Are you going to tune in? And again, when you are angry and thinking of someone to blame on this, understand who you should be blaming. It shouldn't be AJ.